Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this moment. Today I'm going to hand you a key that unlocks one of the most powerful skills, how to talk to anyone, because here's the truth. People don't just listen to what you say, they respond to how you make them feel. And once you know their color, once you understand the vibration behind the voice, the shade beneath the smile, you stop speaking into thin air and you start speaking into hearts. I want you to imagine for a second standing across from someone. They've got a color whether they know it or not. Blue calm, red drive, yellow joy, green steadiness, whatever palette. Now imagine you shift your approach so that your color meets theirs. Boom, it's connection. Not awkward questions, not stale small talk, real interaction, real influence. In this session, we're going to dive deep into recognizing those colors, adapting your speech and body language, building trust in seconds, and leaving people in your wake saying, I felt seen, I felt heard, I was inspired. Because this is not just about talking, it's about legacy. Your legacy of connection, your legacy of influence. Let's launch. You ever notice how some people just get you, they talk, and it's like they already know your rhythm, your wavelength. They don't just speak to you, they speak with you. And then there are others, you know, the ones where every word feels like a miss. You're saying the right things, but it's not landing. That's not luck or chemistry, that's color. Every person carries a color in the way they communicate, the way they feel energy, the way they see the world. When you learn to see the color and speak the language, that's when everything changes, because the truth is, communication isn't about the words, it's about alignment. You can memorize the perfect lines, rehearse your tone, even smile at all the right times. But if you're not matching their color, you'll never connect. It's like trying to tune into a radio station on the wrong frequency. You'll hear noise, not music. But once you find that right frequency, that exact color tone, they open up. They listen, they trust. When I say color, I'm not talking about some surface level vibe. I mean energy, the inner state of a person. Every color has its own rhythm. Some people are bright yellow, bubbly, full of excitement, love to laugh, love stories, love to be seen. If you meet a yellow, you don't hit them with a monotone list of facts. You meet their brightness, you bring energy, you match the warmth. That's how you speak their language. Others are red, intense, driven, decisive. They move fast, think fast, want results. You don't slow a red down with over-explaining or soft talk. You get straight to the point. You speak with purpose, clarity, confidence, because red energy respects strength. You show hesitation, they disengage. You show certainty, they lean in. Then there are the blues. Calm, deep thinkers. They're not impressed by volume or flash. They care about meaning. You connect with them through thoughtfulness, by slowing your pace, by showing you've actually listened. You give them space to process, and you don't rush their silence. That's how they feel respected. And finally, the greens, the steady ones, loyal, balanced, grounded. They're not chasing attention or control. They're craving safety, trust, consistency. You don't need to dazzle a green. You need to be real, honest, present. Because for them, communication isn't about fireworks. It's about foundation. Now imagine walking through life, seeing those colors in people before you even say a word. Imagine being able to read the energy in a room, to sense who needs warmth, who needs structure, who needs space, who needs certainty. That's not manipulation. It's mastery. It's empathy turned into strategy. It's seeing people not through your own lens, but through theirs. Most people talk from their own color. That's why they struggle. The red speaks to the blue like it's a competition. The yellow overwhelms the green with too much noise. The blue confuses the red with too much detail. The green avoids conflict and the red reads it as weakness, and so they walk away, each thinking the other person just didn't get it. But what really happened? They spoke the wrong color. The greatest communicators, the true connectors, they shift. They don't lose themselves, they adapt, they see, they sense, and then they match, because influence is never about domination. It's about alignment. You want to talk to anyone, then stop trying to be impressive, start being in tune, feel the person in front of you, look at their tone, their posture, their pace. Do they talk fast? Do they avoid eye contact? Are they expressive with their hands? Do they stay quiet, thoughtful, reserved? Every move tells you their color, and the moment you adjust, your tone, your words, your energy, you'll feel the shift. The air changes, the connection forms. This is how leaders win people, not just arguments. This is how friends become family. This is how strangers turn into allies, by recognizing that people don't all hear the same frequency. And your job isn't to shout louder, it's to tune finer. See the color, speak the language, because when you do, you make people feel understood. And that, right there, is power. That's what makes people trust you, follow you, remember you. Not because you were the loudest in the room, but because you were the most aligned. You see, when you meet people where they are, you give them permission to meet you back. That's where real connection begins. That's how influence is built. That's how you walk into a room and shift energy without forcing it. It's not about pretending. It's not about performing. It's about awareness. It's about emotional intelligence turned into practice. When you can sense someone's color and adapt to it naturally, you elevate not just your words, but your presence. You become the kind of person people love to talk to because you see them. So next time you walk into a conversation, pause, read the color, feel it, then match it. Not because you need to impress them, but because you choose to connect with them. That's how you turn a simple talk into a legacy moment, because words fade, but the way you made them feel, that stays forever. Adaptability. That's the difference between people who survive and people who rise. Between those who struggle to be heard and those who can walk into any room, any situation, any conversation, and instantly belong. You can have knowledge, skill, even confidence, but if you can't adapt, all of it can crumble the moment life changes direction. Because life doesn't care how prepared you are. It tests how flexible you are. When you meet someone new, when you enter a new environment, when you face a situation you didn't plan for, adaptability becomes your power tool. It's your ability to read, adjust, and respond, not from fear, but from mastery. See, people who resist change drain their own strength. They waste energy wishing things were different instead of becoming different. But those who adapt, they move like water. You can't block them, you can't trap them, you can't stop them because they don't fight the flow. They become the flow. Every person you talk to has their own rhythm, their own reality. Some people come at you with fire, fast, direct, intense. Others approach like the wind, soft, indirect, emotional. Some move slow, steady, grounded. Others are unpredictable, spontaneous. You can't talk to everyone the same way. If you try, you lose connection, you lose influence. But when you adapt, when you sense their energy and adjust, you create harmony, and harmony creates trust. Adaptability doesn't mean you lose yourself. It means you know yourself so well that you can shift without fear. You can raise your tone or lower your voice. You can simplify or expand. You can lead or follow, because you understand that connection is not about control, it's about calibration. The person who can adapt their tone, their body language, their presence, they own the moment because they're not reacting, they're responding. People who struggle in conversations often confuse stubbornness for strength. They think being authentic means never changing, never bending. But authenticity isn't about staying rigid, it's about staying real in motion. It's about being so secure in who you are that you can move with others without losing yourself. That's the kind of confidence people feel before you even speak. You want to be able to talk to anyone. You want to walk into rooms where everyone's different and still connect with all of them. Then you have to be adaptable. Because no one is going to adjust to you, you have to adjust to them. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. That's what great communicators do. They don't force their energy, they match the energy of the space and then guide it. Think of adaptability like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You start small. A friend is upset. You don't lecture, you listen. A coworker is rushing. You keep it short and sharp. A stranger seems shy. You soften your tone, lower your voice, give them space. That's not manipulation. That's emotional intelligence in action. You're not changing who you are. You're meeting people where they are. Adaptability also means letting go of ego. Sometimes your way isn't the only way. Sometimes being right isn't as powerful as being effective. You can win the argument and lose the relationship, or you can adapt your approach and build a bridge that lasts. That's what real leaders do. They don't force people to see things their way. They find a way to be seen. Every great speaker, every powerful leader, every successful connector, they all have one thing in common: adaptability. They read the room before they read their notes. They feel the energy before they speak their message. And when the moment shifts, they shift with it, without losing momentum. That's what gives them presence. That's what makes people listen. Adaptability is the art of pivoting without panic. It's staying calm in chaos. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out, because you trust yourself to adjust. That trust creates power, quiet, grounded power, the kind that doesn't need to shout. When you stop resisting change, life starts opening up. You start hearing what others miss. You start seeing opportunities hidden inside obstacles. You start connecting with people others can't reach. Because you're not trying to make them fit you, you're learning to fit with them. That's how influence works. It's not force, it's flow. You have to understand adaptability isn't a reaction, it's a choice. It's the decision to be bigger than your comfort zone, to see every challenge as a test of growth, not a threat to your identity. It's standing firm in your purpose but flexible in your approach, because purpose gives you direction, but adaptability gives you reach. There will be moments where everything you planned falls apart. The conversation goes wrong, the audience doesn't respond, the person shuts down. You'll feel that pressure to push harder to control it. But that's the moment to breathe, to observe, to shift, change your tone. Change your words, change your pace, adjust, because the moment you adapt, the energy changes, and when the energy changes, everything opens. People follow those who make them feel understood, and you can't make anyone feel understood unless you adapt to their way of understanding. That's your edge, that's your superpower. So next time you step into a new space, don't ask, will they like me? Ask, what do they need from me right now? And then adjust, because when you learn to bend, you stop breaking. When you learn to flow, you stop forcing, and when you learn to adapt, you stop chasing acceptance and start commanding connection. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's the highest form of strength. It's not about being everything to everyone. It's about being exactly what's needed, exactly when it's needed. And that, right there, is how you turn conversations into impact, connections into influence, and moments into legacy. Most people rush to speak. They walk into conversations already focused on what they want to say, how they want to be perceived, what they want others to think. But real power in communication doesn't come from talking first. It comes from connecting first. Before you speak your message, before you drop your wisdom, before you try to influence anyone, you build connection, because people don't listen to voices they don't trust. They don't open up to energy that doesn't feel aligned. They don't follow someone who doesn't first make them feel seen. Connection is the invisible bridge between your intention and their attention. It's what determines whether your words land or get lost. You could have the greatest message in the world, the most powerful insight, the most inspiring story. But if you don't build connection first, your message will bounce right off. People need to feel you before they can hear you. When you build connection, you're not trying to impress, you're trying to understand. You're showing that this conversation isn't just about you, it's about us. It's about creating a moment of mutual respect, curiosity, and presence. That's what pulls people in, that's what makes them drop their walls. The mistake most people make is thinking connection is something you add later, after you've said your part, but connection has to come first. It's not decoration, it's foundation. Without it, everything you say feels transactional. With it, everything you say feels transformational. Building connection starts with presence, not performance, presence. You walk into the moment fully aware, fully engaged. You're not distracted by what comes next. You're reading energy, not just words. You're noticing posture, tone, rhythm, because connection begins before words are spoken. It's in your energy, it's in your eyes, it's in whether you're actually there. When people feel your presence, they relax, their guard drops, they feel safe, and that safety creates space for your message to be heard. You can't teach someone, guide someone, or inspire someone if they don't feel safe around you. The moment they sense judgment, ego, or agenda, they tune out. But when they feel your intent is real, your focus is pure, your respect is genuine, they lean in. Connection is built through curiosity. Ask questions not because you're collecting information, but because you care about understanding their world. Listen, not to reply, but to feel. Let silence breathe. Let people express themselves without rushing to correct, to fix, or to impress. Because the moment someone feels heard, they're ready to hear you. It's easy to talk, it's hard to listen. But that's what separates talkers from leaders. Leaders know that the most powerful voice in any room is the one that listens first, because when you listen, you learn what matters, you discover the real emotion behind their words, their fear, their passion, their reason. And when you speak after that, your message doesn't sound like noise, it sounds like a solution. Connection also requires vulnerability. You can't connect through perfection. People don't trust flawless, they trust real. When you share something authentic, when you admit a struggle, when you reveal something human, you bridge the gap between you and them. Suddenly, you're not a speaker talking at them, you're a person talking with them. This is the secret of great communicators. They don't talk to impress, they talk to impact, and impact always begins with connection. They take time to align emotionally before they deliver intellectually. They don't force people to listen, they earn the right to be heard, so before you deliver your message, pause, feel the room, feel the person, ground yourself, ask, do they trust me yet? Do they feel understood? If the answer is no, don't rush the message. Build the bridge first. Sometimes that bridge is eye contact, sometimes it's a shared laugh, sometimes it's a simple acknowledgement, I get where you're coming from. Those little moments of humanity carry more power than any perfect speech ever could. Because the truth is, people don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. If your message doesn't connect emotionally, it doesn't matter how logical, polished, or clever it is. Emotion is the doorway to influence. Logic explains, but emotion connects, and connection is what makes your message last long after the words are gone. Every time you speak, you have a choice. You can talk to be heard, or you can connect to be remembered. When you talk just to be heard, you're chasing attention. When you connect to be remembered, you're creating legacy. So slow down, look people in the eye, match their tone, mirror their pace, feel their rhythm before you add yours. Let them know, I see you, I hear you, I respect you. Then, and only then, speak your truth, because now your words will land, they'll stick, they'll mean something. Connection isn't soft, it's strategic. It's the skill that turns communication into influence. It's what makes people follow you not because they have to, but because they want to. That's what creates movement. That's what creates transformation. So remember this, your message may be powerful, but without connection, it's just sound. Build connection first, and your voice becomes a force. Build connection first, and your words carry weight. Build connection first, and your legacy begins the moment you open your mouth. Because when people feel you, they'll follow you anywhere. Confidence doesn't come from shouting louder, standing taller, or pretending you have it all figured out. Real confidence is quiet, it's steady. It doesn't need to prove itself, and that kind of confidence only comes from one place, clarity. When you are clear about who you are, what you stand for, and what you're saying, you don't need to perform confidence, you become it. Most people think confidence is something you build from the outside in. They chase validation, approval, applause, hoping it will make them feel sure of themselves, but that's not confidence, that's noise. And noise fades. True confidence comes from the inside out. It's born the moment you find clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of direction, clarity of message. Because when you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you stop hesitating. You stop second guessing, you move with conviction. Clarity gives confidence structure. It's what keeps you grounded when life gets loud. Think about it. When you're unclear, your energy scatters. You overthink, you hesitate, you question every move. But when your mind is clear, your voice is strong. You don't have to wonder if you're enough because you know you're aligned. That alignment silences doubt before it even speaks. Every time you speak, every time you lead, every time you step into a moment that matters, you're either coming from confusion or clarity, and the people around you can feel it. Confusion creates hesitation. Clarity creates authority. You can't fake it. People can sense when your words come from fear instead of focus. But when your message is built on clarity, when you know exactly what you're saying, why you're saying it, and who it's for, your energy changes. Your posture changes, your tone changes, you become magnetic. Confidence through clarity means you stop trying to be everything to everyone. You stop diluting your truth to please the room. You stop speaking to be liked and start speaking to make impact. You realize not everyone will agree with you, and that's okay, because clarity teaches you that confidence isn't about being accepted, it's about being aligned. When your words match your values and your actions match your message, you stand taller without trying. When you're clear, you don't chase opportunities, you attract them, because clarity sharpens your focus. You know what fits and what doesn't. You stop wasting energy on the wrong people, the wrong projects, the wrong paths. You stop saying yes out of fear and start saying no from strength. That's confidence. The power to walk away from what doesn't serve your purpose because you're clear about what does. Clarity simplifies life. It removes the clutter. It turns noise into signal, and when your mind is uncluttered, confidence flows naturally. You speak directly, you act decisively, you stop performing, you stop over-explaining. Because when you're clear, you don't need to convince, you just communicate. People feel that. They feel the certainty in your tone, the peace in your presence, the strength in your simplicity. Clarity doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you know your direction even when the road isn't clear. You can stand in uncertainty and still move forward because your foundation is solid. You might not know every step, but you know your why, and that's enough. That's where confidence lies, not in knowing everything, but in trusting yourself to navigate anything. People lose confidence not because they lack ability, but because they lose clarity. They forget what they're doing it for. They let doubt, distraction, and fear cloud their purpose, and once the vision blurs, hesitation creeps in. So if you ever feel your confidence slipping, don't chase motivation. Find clarity, reconnect with your why. Remind yourself what you're building and who you're becoming, because once your purpose is clear, your power returns. Confidence through clarity also means your communication changes. You stop filling silence with filler words. You speak slower, cleaner, with intention. You don't rush to be heard. You wait to be understood. Every sentence carries weight because it's backed by awareness. You don't talk just to fill space. You talk to create meaning. That's how people start listening, not because you're loud, but because you're certain. Clarity gives you peace, and peace is power. When you're clear, you're not intimidated by others. You're inspired by them. You don't compete, you collaborate. You don't fear failure, you use it as feedback, because clarity keeps you focused on growth, not approval, and that's the kind of mindset that builds unstoppable confidence. Imagine walking into a room where everyone's trying to impress, and you're the one person who doesn't need to. You don't need validation because you're anchored in clarity. You're not performing, you're present. That's the kind of confidence that turns heads without trying. It's not about being the loudest in the room, it's about being the most certain. So ask yourself, what am I clear about? What do I stand for? What's my message, my mission, my truth? Because the more clear you become, the more powerful you sound. And the more powerful you sound, the more the world starts to listen. Confidence isn't about having it all figured out. It's about being clear on what matters most and trusting yourself to handle the rest. Once you get that clarity, you walk differently, you speak differently. You think differently, you stop reacting. You start responding, you stop surviving. You start leading. Confidence through clarity is freedom. Freedom from doubt, from comparison, from hesitation. It's the moment you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start declaring, "I was made for this." Because clarity doesn't just give you direction, it gives you dominion, and once you find that, your confidence isn't borrowed. It's built, it's yours, unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. Legacy isn't built by what you own, what you achieve, or what you post online. Legacy is built through people, through the hearts you touch, the lives you impact, the moments where your presence made someone feel seen, valued, and understood. You don't leave a legacy by being remembered for what you said. You leave it by being remembered for how you made people feel. That's what it means to leave a legacy of connection. Every word you speak, every gesture you make, every conversation you have, it leaves an imprint. You're either building walls or building bridges, and too many people chase success while neglecting connection. They collect achievements but lose relationships. They rise in position but fall in presence. But true power, the kind that lasts long after you're gone, doesn't come from what you accomplish. It comes from how deeply you connect. When you understand that, the way you move through life changes. You start paying attention. You start listening differently. You look people in the eye when they talk. You put your phone down. You don't just hear words. You feel emotion, because connection isn't about talking. It's about understanding. It's not about impressing, it's about impacting. A legacy of connection means you lead with empathy. You walk into rooms not asking, "What can I get?" but "What can I give?" You realize that every person you meet carries a story, a struggle, a dream, and sometimes all they need is someone who truly sees them. When you can be that person, when your energy makes others feel safe enough to be real, you're leaving a mark that no title or trophy could ever match. Connection isn't complicated. It's just rare. It's rare because it requires humility. It demands presence. It asks you to step out of your head and into your heart. Most people are so busy trying to prove themselves that they forget to feel others. They listen to reply, not to understand. They speak to dominate, not to connect. But when you flip that, when you approach every conversation as a chance to serve, to uplift, to align, you stop chasing influence and start creating it. Leaving a legacy of connection doesn't mean being everyone's friend. It means being authentic. It means showing up real, even when it's uncomfortable. It means giving people honesty wrapped in kindness. It means standing firm in truth, but always leading with love. That's how you build respect that lasts. You'll notice something powerful happens when you start living this way. You stop feeling alone. Because when you live to connect, the world opens up. Opportunities come through people, growth comes through people, healing comes through people. Every door that ever opened in your life came because of a connection. And the deeper the connection, the stronger your foundation. So start leaving people better than you found them. Leave them with clarity, leave them with hope, leave them with encouragement. Every time you interact with someone, ask yourself, did I just drain their energy or elevate it? Because the truth is, people may forget your name, but they'll never forget how you made them feel when they were around you. A legacy of connection is built moment by moment. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistency. It's about showing up for people when you don't have to. It's about saying, I'm proud of you, when they least expect it. It's about giving someone your full attention in a world that's constantly distracted. These small acts of connection ripple far beyond what you can see, and here's the part most people miss. Connection outlives you. Long after you're gone, the people you touched carry your energy forward. The student you encourage becomes a leader, the friend you supported becomes a light for others, the stranger you smiled at decides to keep going one more day. That's legacy. It's not carved in stone, it's carried in hearts. When you build your life around connection, success stops feeling empty. You can stand on a stage and speak to thousands, but what makes it meaningful is when even one person in that audience feels like you are speaking directly to them. You can lead a team, but your real impact shows when those people grow not just in skill, but in belief. You can raise a family, but your true legacy is in how deeply your love shapes their future. Every conversation is a chance to create legacy. Every encounter is an opportunity to leave someone a little stronger, a little braver, a little more hopeful than before they met you. The question is, what energy are you leaving behind? Do people walk away feeling lighter, or do they walk away feeling drained? Because connection is energy transfer, and legacy is energy remembered, the world doesn't need more powerful people. It needs more connected people. People who lead with heart, who communicate with empathy, who care enough to listen. People who realize that being human is more powerful than being perfect. Because in the end, no one's going to talk about how flawless your life looked. They'll talk about how your presence made them feel alive. So choose to connect, choose to listen, choose to show up with kindness even when it's not convenient. Choose to forgive, to encourage, to understand, because that's what will echo after you're gone. That's what turns moments into memories and relationships into legacy. You don't leave a legacy of connection by speaking louder. You leave it by feeling deeper. You don't leave it by being everywhere. You leave it by being present where you are. And when you live that way, when your energy becomes a source of peace, strength, and authenticity for others, you don't just touch lives, you transform them. And that's how you live forever. As we wrap this up, I want you to remember one thing. In every room you enter, in every handshake, every hello, every moment of eye contact, you are doing more than exchanging words. You are creating a resonance. You are offering someone the gift of being seen. And when you intently align your color to theirs, not to manipulate, but to genuinely connect, you step into a new realm of power. The power of authenticity, the power of legacy. So go ahead, walk into your next conversation with this mindset. I see you, I match you, I connect with you. And let your presence be the color people remember. Because true influence isn't loud, it's aligned, it's felt, and it lasts. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for choosing to leave a legacy not just in what you do, but in how you talk, how you listen, how you adapt, how you connect. Let's go change the way the world speaks together.